He's the former president and publisher of the Sun Herald, and now he's on the radio. Welcome to Coast Vue with Ricky Mathews on SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
Welcome to Coast Vue, the show that celebrates the men and women who are making coastal Mississippi such a great place to live, work, and play. And speaking of live, work, and play, we're going to have a show packed with why that's important here in just a second. But we're all kinds of efforts are happening all across coastal Mississippi to make this such a great place to live, work, and play. That is for sure. I went to Ocean Springs last Friday with my sister Mitzi and my granddaughter Mila. We ate at the front porch of the Maison de Lou in downtown Ocean Springs. It was actually the first time my sister and I went out after, since the pandemic started. And we just sat there actually just admiring the food, great food, and the wonderful sense of place that Ocean Springs has to offer. You think about every community of coastal Mississippi has its own unique sense of place. That's what makes coastal Mississippi such an incredible place to live and visit. Our goal as we look forward is to add to that sense of place, to make it more of an attractant to empty nesters and young people. We want them to want to come here. It's really actually the key to our success as we go forward as a region. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in just a second. But if you think about urban and regional planning efforts and dreaming about coastal Mississippi and how it competes with places like Nashville and Chattanooga, Tennessee, and Austin, Texas, places like that. But here's the thing: as we sort of move into a conversation about that conversation, urban and regional planning, don't turn your dial yet, because we're going to try to make this conversation really interesting. I want you to understand why this is an important conversation to you, and I want to talk about this in a way that helps you understand why it's important to you. But here's the challenge: how do you talk about urban planning, which has a goal of building amazing communities? A collection of communities here in coastal Mississippi that rival the best communities in America. And how do you talk about regional planning, which is not just about positioning this as a great place to live, but also giving us an economy that's striving and diverse and adjusting to the dynamics of an ever-changing economy? How do you have those conversations without boring people? Well, I think you start by painting a picture of the future. And the next thing I think you have to do is you have to give a solid example of a specific game-changing project that could happen. That's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to talk about all of these issues, and we're going to be joined shortly by Stewart Speed, who is the president of Leaf River Group. He's going to share a residential commercial, better known as mixed-use project, planned for Gulfport, that not only meets the goal of adding something to Gulfport that is transformational, but also meets a vital economic goal: adding a downtown residential development that can attract professional and tech firm employees. Now, this is really important because if you look at a study that was done by the Gulf Coast Business Council and the Gulf Coast Community Foundation, this was literally the top priority of the strategic plan. I talk about this all the time on Coast Vue. The new economy that is emerging compels us to attract young professionals, especially those who are tech savvy. And this was a major trend that was happening before the pandemic. But they want to live, work, and play, and just about they can live, work, and play just about anywhere remotely. And the pandemic has put this trend on steroids. Millennials covet the convenience that comes from developing mixed-use areas. They want to live, work, and play within walking distance. They want to access necessities. They want engagement with their friends and their peers. Eric Hill from the Center of Entrepreneurship at Mississippi State, you know him well if you're a regular listener to this show. He's a frequent guest here. He said this, that we need an educated, experienced, and portable workforce. Nearly every single angel fund that he worked with has struggled with hiring, especially in the area of development work. He goes on to put it this way, and I think this is a really cool, practical way to say it. People in their 20s and 30s need to be able to find spouses. Our cities and communities need to be places that are sought after and that lead. What would it take to get someone under 40 to say this? Wow, I'm glad I live in Mississippi and no, not anywhere else. Eric says that we can't be like a company that simply watches its competitors, rather than crafting our own unique winning strategy. And, we're doing that now in coastal Mississippi. We have opportunities in front of us that we've never really seen before, and now this is the time for us to be able to grab those opportunities. I can't agree more with Eric. And just look at what we've done as a set of communities here since Katrina. Look at the opportunities that are in front of us. Good Lord, the opportunities to win here are very significant in this cherished group of coastal communities. So add to that something that I've said more than once on Coast Vue, and that is this, and this is really an important part of this overall conversation. The disasters that we've experienced here in coastal Mississippi have over the past many years, we could be BP oil spill, the Bonnet Carré Spillway, Katrina, and others like those, have inspired us with a sense of urgency that most communities don't have. Because there has been significant pain inflicted on in this region, and we know now better what our vulnerabilities are. We know them in every aspect of our living, especially economically. As a result, we're committed now to shaping a future that assures that we are more economically resilient, and that makes our region continue. That will continue to keep our region prosperous. That's why the study that was completed by the Gulf Coast Business Council and the Gulf Coast Community Foundation is so important. It helps establish a game plan going forward. But building places that, like I'm talking about, takes incredible investment, very significant investment, and it takes private sector involvement. Private sector's got to be willing to put millions of dollars up and take the risk. And that's why the BP settlement money is so important. And I've talked about it on the show all the time, but why it's important for me to talk about it so much. That money is available to us to invest in the sort of projects that will transform coastal Mississippi. Ashley Edwards and I talked about this yesterday. We literally have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do something economically transformational while at the same time adding to our sense of place. I want to give you some quick background here. On September the 5th, 2018, a bill was signed into law here in Mississippi that established what is called the Gulf Coast Restoration Fund. The fund is used for programs and projects that have the potential to generate increased economic activity in the coastal Mississippi region. And here's how it works. The Mississippi Development Authority takes in these applications for projects during the July to August timeframe. And they get recommendations from what is called the Gulf Coast Restoration Fund Advisory Committee. I'm going to talk more about that in just a second. That committee reviews and compiles and scores all the applications, and then they present those applications to the legislature in December. The legislature then looks at the individual projects and they fund them, the ones that they approve, in an appropriations bill during the next legislative session. And this will happen annually. The Gulf Coast Restoration Board was, as I mentioned, was established by this bill, and it has 7 members. 3 of those are appointed by the governor, 2 of those by the lieutenant governor, and 2 of those by the Speaker of the House. If you look at the current board, the advisory board, it's literally a dream team of coast leaders. The governor's appointees are these 3. Ashley Edwards, from the Gulf Coast Business Council, he's the chairman. Moses Fegan and Becky Montgomery Jenner. The lieutenant governor's appointments are Jerry Levins and Mark Cumbest. And then the speaker's appointees are Greg Cronin and Jim Simpson. So as I mentioned, they evaluate and score the project. Now, here's what I have said on Coast Vue a lot recently. So I was trying to this is a little editorial comment. In my assessment of the state's efforts so far, I think we stumbled in the first round of BP money. In the bill, it addresses the disbursement of the money. The legislature designed a process that not only created this advisory committee, but it went on to talk about the kind of projects that would be approved. Okay, and I'm going to give you that here in just a second. But unfortunately, it says the board is advisory. It enables projects to sort of go around or sidestep the committee. So if you look at the projects that were approved and you look at them from the lens of long-term payback, I think we stumbled. Of the 26 projects that were approved by the legislature, only 8 of those projects were actually recommended by the advisory committee. The majority of the projects approved were never actually reviewed or vetted by that committee. We've got to do better. The legislature funded things that were too often one-time expense with virtually no long-term payback. Too many projects were not transformational. They did not diversify the economy, and they will not leave a legacy. The states that we compete with would die to have this opportunity to fund transformational projects. We're in a unique place. So I'm hoping that as we go forward in this next round of projects, that we're more aligned so that we can do the kind of things that are going to really make for long-term economic payback for coastal Mississippi. The intent of the bill, I'll summarize. This is just a paraphrase directly from the bill. The state will use the BP money to invest in projects that will leave a legacy for our kids and our kids' kids. That's what we're doing. So with that said, I'm going to have Stewart Speed on in the next segment. And we're going to talk more about a very specific project that gives you a great example of something that's going to happen in coastal Mississippi, in Gulfport in particular in this case. But we're going to have more projects that I'm going to focus on, either ones that have been recommended or ones that have been approved by the legislature, so we can have a conversation about what long-term payback looks like, what transformational projects look like. We'll be back with Stewart Speed after this break.
Coast View on SuperTalk 103.1 is brought to you by J. Allen Toyota on I-10 exit 38 Gulfport. See all the incredible inventory at allentoyota.com. And remember, when you think Toyota, think J. Allen Toyota.
At the water's edge, you'll find open horizons, blue skies. Look up, birds flying by. A big mystery, a secret coast you'll see. It may be all you need. This is no ordinary life. This is no ordinary life.
Hey, South Mississippi, it's Jay Allen at Jay Allen Toyota, and I got something new for you for 2021. It's the Jay Allen Certified Collection. What that means is we selected our very best inventory with under 75,000 miles, and they're 6 years old or newer. That comes with a multi-point inspection, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, and a 3-day buyback guarantee. So come check out the Jay Allen Certified Pre-Owned Collection right here, I-10 exit 38 in Gulfport, or on allentoyota.com.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking hard-to-find PPE items. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. When your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
If Alexa's part of your life, you've got one more way to access SuperTalk. SuperTalk Mississippi is now available on Amazon Alexa devices. Once enabled, just say, Alexa, play SuperTalk Mississippi at any time and start listening. It's that easy. Just one more way to stay informed and connected with your state. Learn more at supertalk.fm/Alexa. SuperTalk Mississippi. SuperTalk Mississippi. Now available on Amazon Alexa devices. Feeling down? Here's your prescription for a daily dose of good news and positive vibes. Good Things with Rebecca Turner. Every afternoon, Rebecca highlights all the good things happening right here in the state you call home. Daily exposure to Good Things with Rebecca Turner may cause smiling, feelings of positivity, happiness, and even laughter. When you experience these symptoms, tell your friends to listen. Okay. Weekdays starting at 2 p.m. here on SuperTalk Mississippi and now on Amazon Alexa devices.
106.3 Casino Radio is here. Tune to 106.3 to discover all of our must-see attractions and everything that's happening at our 12 incredible casino resorts. Where to eat, where to stay, what to do, and where to play. 106.3 Casino Radio has you covered with everything you need to know to help make your visit here to the coast one you'll never forget. Turn on 106.3 Casino Radio or listen now on our website, casinoradio1063.com.
Talking to the people that help make the coast such a unique place to live. This is Coast View with Ricky Mathews on SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
Welcome back to Coast View. As I said in the first segment, this is a real opportunity for us. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to take the BP money from the settlement the multi-year opportunity we have in front of us, so that one day in the future, 10, 15, 20 years down the road, we look back and say that we took advantage of this, that we didn't blow it. And I'm hoping, the one thing I wanted to mention, that in the first round of funds that were dispersed, it came during, the pandemic, and the pandemic was really beginning to take hold. So I'm frankly not too critical of the legislature. Although the one thing I wish they would do is pay much more attention to this committee that they put together and what their recommendations are, because there's a very, very structured vetting process, so that the projects that come out of the local committee are the kind of projects that will be transformational, that will create some sort of long-term payback for coastal Mississippi. I just wanted to make that clear. So now let's turn the page and move to my new friend, Stewart Speed. He's with Leaf River Group, and someone I've been getting to know the last few days, but it's good to see you, Stewart. How are you?
I'm good, Ricky. How are you?
Doing great. Hey, let's start with this. People may not know you, but they may recognize your last name. Your father was Leland Speed, and I worked with him before Katrina, but after Katrina, I worked with him extraordinarily closely. Man, he was a force to be reckoned with, wasn't he?
He really was. He was a unique fella, and one of those guys that's not really replaceable. And but we hope to take the lessons he left us and move forward with him. We miss him dearly.
So for people who don't know your father, give them sort of a brief picture of who he was. And unfortunately, he passed relatively recently. But he made so many contributions throughout his entire life. Give us kind of a nutshell of who Leland was.
Wow. Okay, that's a big challenge, Ricky, on a Monday morning. I appreciate it. Or now Tuesday morning, I guess, showing this. But so he was a visionary and a leader of people, and just a wonderful human being. Everybody who met him was kind of marked by their encounters with Leland, it seemed. And among other things, though, in terms of business, he was one of the pioneers of the public real estate business in the late 70s, starting in the late 70s. So the Real Estate Investment Trust, or REIT business, he through a series of acquisitions, acquired and built two public companies, which ultimately became Parkway Properties and East Group Properties, and both traded on the New York Stock Exchange. Both were based in Jackson. One of them has since sold, but East Group continues here with the Jackson headquarters, and it's an industrial REIT. They own warehouse space from coast to coast in the Sun Belt. So California to Florida, points in between major markets. So big, distribution space. And so, but what was interesting is, after a long career, successful career in public real estate, he had a second career in public service as the MDA director under Haley Barbour. And that's where he was when Katrina occurred. And so he was very involved in kind of heading up with Jim Barksdale and others the coast kind of rebuild roadmap, if you will. And so he was aware before his passing about a month ago of my involvement in this project on the coast that we're about to talk about. And he was so excited about it. Major proponent, really wants to see this happen. So hopefully we can get it done for him. So, yeah.
Well, I tell you, I enjoyed working with him. He was a visionary, and once he made that transition to public service, he was really, really driven to make the MDA the best it could possibly be. And the MDA, as most people know who were close to it, played a significant role in the recovery after Hurricane Katrina. But he had to have been an amazing mentor for you. And while you worked with him at some point along the way, you actually sort of transitioned into your own entrepreneurial efforts. Tell us a little bit about the kind of companies you've been involved in that led you to your current company, Leaf River Group.
So I've been involved in the development of various types of commercial real estate. I was involved at Colony Park in Ridgeland for years with Buster Bailey, and we did involved in Renaissance at Colony Park and a number of the office buildings here. So that was been a transformational project for this neck of the woods. And then I was in Atlanta for a period of time developing urban for rent and for sale product, some mixed use as well. And then in 2014 went out on my own and started Leaf River Group and just scratching that entrepreneurial itch. And so we have been involved in several multifamily, apartment communities, kind of higher end stuff, typically some mixed use with some office retail, public-private parking kind of aspects. We've also done some for sale housing targeted at empty nesters, the move down kind of crowd, and then also some warehouse development. So that's what we're doing in Mississippi and Alabama, heretofore, the Jackson area, and then coastal Alabama, Mobile, and Fairhope. But really looking forward to getting involved in the Mississippi Gulf Coast. So
you go back and look at your bio, the companies you've been involved in, the kind of projects you've been involved in, all of them first-class projects. You seem to be sort of the perfect sort of lead on the kind of project we're talking about for Gulfport. And so what I want to do is I want you to kind of describe the project, and then we'll start to, as we get further into the conversation, we'll start to really dive into some of the attributes. And then at the end, we'll come back and talk about why it's important to have a solid partner in the state of Mississippi as a result of the BP money, because it will provide a way to make a project like this actually doable, whereas maybe it might not have been doable before. And you heard the point that I made a minute ago. We got to get this right, because our competitors all across the United States, they would covet the opportunity to have a fund that could make otherwise not doable projects doable. And that's what's going to make this transformative, isn't it?
Absolutely. This is, as you've said, I think before, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity for the Mississippi Gulf Coast. To help bring to reality some projects that just otherwise would not happen, and ours falls in that category. And what a crying shame if we don't take full advantage of this opportunity. And the coast has done a really good job of as you mentioned previously, getting back on its knees. Certainly with in terms of infrastructure through FEMA money, et cetera, after Katrina. But now it's got an opportunity to really go to the next level and address quality of place and quality of life. And that's so important, because we're in competition with these other markets and other states for human capital, for talent right now. And the Gulf Coast has a great opportunity to attract it, but it's missing some key ingredients. And so this is the opportunity to engage the private sector who knows about these things and can deliver these things, to engage it, to make this happen. And what a wonderful thing that the private sector is ready to engage on addressing some of these needs that can be transformative in a market that, where, like our project, which we're going to talk about, the market for that project's not really established yet. So It takes a good bit of subsidy to kind of make those numbers work and make that kind of type project a reality.
I think what will happen as we go forward is that we'll start to see more competing projects that are, more and more, hopefully, developers from all over coming here saying, wait a minute, this is a unique opportunity. Coast of Mississippi is a unique region. It has a unique sense of place. We have a chance to put that on steroids with other developers and in partnership with the state of Mississippi through the BP funds, and do some amazing things. So why don't we do this? So your just start to sort of lay the groundwork for your project. It's in Gulfport. And I tell you what, why don't we do this? We'll pick up on the other side of the segment, because we're coming to the end of the segment. But this is Stewart Speed. And when we come back, we're going to get really specific about the Gulfport project and why it's so important and what it's going to do to help sort of meet the strategic plan that was set forth by the Gulf Coast Business Council and the Gulf Coast Community Foundation. We'll be back after this break.
Hey, South Mississippi, the future has arrived. It's 2021, and at J. Allen Toyota, we're here to serve you. Want to let you know that we have Allen's lifetime warranty on every new Toyota we sell. That also comes with Toyota Care. That's 2 years and 25,000 miles of complimentary maintenance. We have a great rental department. Our service department's ready to take care of your current vehicle. We're rolling out J. Allen certified pre-owned for 2021. You got to come to I-10 exit 38 right here in Gulfport. You're going to love what we have to offer. When you think Toyota, think Allen Toyota.
At the water's edge, you'll find open horizons, blue skies. Look up, birds flying by. Have you ever been so high? Have you ever touched the sky? Soak it in and you'll realize this is no ordinary life. Sunset views, hard to believe it's true. Come down south, we're here, just waiting for you. A big mystery, a secret coast you'll see. It may be all you need. This is no ordinary life. No ordinary life, oh no. This is no ordinary life.
SuperTalk.fm has a new look and is more informative than ever with expanded Mississippi news coverage, the latest Mississippi weather, Mississippi sports, and of course, the talk that's important to you. Every show, every podcast, and every late-breaking story. Constantly updating the news the second new developments happen. All in one place. The new SuperTalk.fm.
106.3 Casino Radio is here. Tune to 106.3 to discover all of our must-see attractions and everything that's happening at our 12 incredible casino resorts. Where to eat, where to stay, what to do, and where to play. 106.3 Casino Radio has you covered with everything you need to know to help make your visit here to the coast one you'll never forget. Turn on 106.3 Casino Radio or listen now on our website, CasinoRadio1063.com.
Hey, I'm Steve Azar, and you never know who or what you'll hear when I spend a Mississippi Minute with my friends. We are with the fabulous Norbert Putnam as he played on so many hit records, you can't count them, and produced for some of the biggest acts ever. We got to talk Jimmy Buffett.
One day at breakfast, he says, I started a new song. He says, about a night and a day in Key West, I played a bar and I got drunk, and coming home, I stepped out of my flip-flop, and I just kept going. I stepped on a beer can. And the next morning, I'm up, and I'm hungover, and I'm trying to make a margarita. I got some shrimp boiling. I can't find the salt. I said, Jimmy, I kind of like this. And he said, yeah, I think I'll call it Margaritaville.
In a Mississippi Minute. Be sure to check out In a Mississippi Minute with me, Steve Azar, right here on your local SuperTalk Mississippi station and now on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher.
Thousands of Bulldog fans have subscribed to the Thunder and Lightning podcast. Have you? On each episode, Brian Haydad and Joel Coleman give you an inside look at your Mississippi State Bulldogs. The Thunder and Lightning podcast is free and available on demand at supertalk.fm and on your smartphone. Just search for Thunder and Lightning on iTunes, Google Play, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. Thunder and Lightning from SuperTalk, Mississippi, covering the Bulldogs like no one else. SuperTalk Mississippi, your new home for the Ben Shapiro Show.
We don't hold back. We never shy away from telling you the truth.
The most electrifying national talk show on air today.
We have the most important guests and the biggest thinkers in America.
Ben Shapiro, brutally breaking down the issues of the day.
From politics to pop culture, we take a look at all of it. So don't miss out.
Weeknights at 9.
For something new and unique in talk radio, take a listen to The Ben Shapiro Show.
On SuperTalk Mississippi.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking very hard-to-find PPE items to make our community a safer place. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. They were even sending thousands of dollars of PPE supplies free to local schools in need with help from other local business leaders. The next time your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider a local company that supports your ball teams, cheerleaders, and area homeless. Consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply, the local guys that keep your prices fair, your service and selection excellent, and your health our business. Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
He's the former president and publisher of the Sun Herald, and now he's on the radio. Welcome to Coast View with Ricky Mathews on SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
Welcome back to Coast View. We have Stewart Speed with us. He's with Leaf River Group. He's the president of that company, and he's involved in a project here in coastal Mississippi, a proposed project called the Gulfport Town Center. It's really exciting. And as we've said up to this point, mixed use is part of our future. So why don't we start, Stewart, just kind of give an overview of the project, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah. So, Ricky, this is a large, very high quality mixed use project that would be in downtown Gulfport. But we view it as something that would set a tone and impact the entire Mississippi Gulf Coast, not just a Gulfport project per se. So its primary component is residential. It would be about approximately 250 apartment units. All this would be kind of Class A plus quality. We've got 650 car parking garage that would be public and private. There's a real need for public parking in downtown Gulfport, particularly on weekend nights and such. And so we're, as part of this project, we can address that need. The garage would be about half residential, and then half for public parking. And so, and then we've got a little bit of flex space, about 15,000 feet of office, retail, incubator, what have you, to be determined depending on kind of where the market takes that. And then we would probably have a rooftop. Our project is located at 49 and Beach Boulevard. And so with a view of the port, Jones Park, the marina there, and of course the Gulf. And so we would have a rooftop a bar restaurant situation as well, which could be really, really neat with that view. So that's the kind of the basic facts on the project. It's an expensive project, $60 million total cost, but we will have easily more than half of the capital would be private capital that's being leveraged, if you will, to make something like this a reality. I've been involved in projects of this nature in Jackson, Meridian at Fondren, across from UMC on Lakeland Drive in the Fondren area, kind of midtown Jackson, and then in Mobile, downtown Mobile on Water Street, the Meridian at the port, about 3 blocks north of the RSA Tower. And both of those projects had some public subsidy to make them go, because they all have structured parking, because you're fitting on a small lot, generally speaking, and in our case, it's less than 4 acres there in Gulfport. And so structured parking is very expensive, and it's hard to make the rents work with that kind of cost. And the additional challenge we face right now in the Gulfport area is that the rents there are significantly lower for multifamily than they are, say, even in Midtown Jackson or downtown Mobile. So it takes more subsidy to underwrite it, because we've got to go to a commercial bank for a loan, and it's got to pass all the kind of underwriting criteria. And so it takes substantial subsidy to make this kind of thing happen. But it's, it's so important that we do, again, going back to talent attraction and retention, young people, tech workers, service workers, professionals, but also empty nesters, as you said. And so, we are in competition in this new economy. Not so much for smokestacks, but for people, particularly post-pandemic when everybody's working remotely, and people love a low cost of living, and they love water. And guess what? The Mississippi coast has both, and so the coast has got such an opportunity here. And, I like what you have said previously about each of the coast communities having a sense of place, and they have their own unique character. And I had the opportunity recently to kind of go from one end of the coast to the other and spend a little quality time in a lot of those communities. And it's so true. And it's unique that way because it's not one monolithic big city, where here's the vibe and everything, take it or leave it. You've got a little bit of everything there. And so I think it's fascinating. And I want to also say that the folks that we have dealt with on the coast have been great. I've got partners on the coast that have invited me into this project, and they have introduced me to a number of people, business council folks, political leaders, coast legislative delegation. And I'll tell you, and you guys with the show here at Coast Vue, I've been really impressed with the attitude and the optimism and the want to, and I think the desire to cooperate and work together to make something greater than the sum of its parts. And I think that's fantastic. So I think the coast really has an opportunity. I wouldn't be, we're going to be sticking our neck out on this thing. This is a pioneering project. So I wouldn't be participating in that if I didn't think there was a real opportunity here to make something great happen. One of the things that we hear as we go through this process with the Business Council, the Advisory Committee, and the legislature is that, one of the questions you get, well, how many jobs are you going to create? Okay. Well, here's the answer to that. This is not an auto plant. So the number is not 4 digits. It's probably 3 digits. It may be low 3 digits that you can directly attribute to the project. Okay. But that's missing the point entirely. This is the kind of thing that if you provide this kind of urban walkable experience which particularly young people are looking for, and you attract some of the human capital, young talent that Mississippi is in dire need of, right? We don't need people, kids from Ole Miss State, Southern, moving to Nashville, Atlanta, Dallas, DC, whatever. We need to mitigate that as best we can. So what you get is you've got the opportunity to have those people, here, attract them, and then they generate employment. They generate entrepreneurial opportunities, startup businesses, but also attract other businesses who are looking for quality employees. And so there's a ripple effect with this that you just have to have. It's sometimes difficult to quantify, but you got to have it. I mean, ask the folks in Austin and Nashville who have this kind of environment, and it's taken them 15, 20 years to build it. They didn't start out with it, but they built it, and it's fed on itself. And so what happens is you generate additional economic activity. You generate copycat projects, if you will. In Fondren, for instance, there are 3 projects that are a direct result, I would tell you, of our developing the Meridian at Fondren that are on the drawing boards right now or under construction. That are trying to have significant projects with a significant multifamily or retail or both components. So it just, somebody's got to go first with a significant project.
So this is Stewart Speed, and he's a developer and investor, and we're talking about a major mixed-use project for Gulfport. Let me add a little more to that. It's really kind of interesting that after Katrina, when we had the 100 architects and planners from around the world, we had even the Prince of Wales Foundation represented in this group, that mixed use was part of the conversation then. This is over 15 years ago. This whole notion of walkable communities and how the future would sort of lean toward creating more of these kind of walkable communities. And it's interesting that now that we've got a strategic plan, a coast region strategic plan in our hand, that one of the major priorities of that plan is to build places that remote workers and others would want to come to. So it's not just about attracting tech companies and others that could potentially relocate here, but it's also just about creating a place that they want to work in, which we've said before, that they want to live, work, and play in, so that they may work for a company in New York or Dallas or California and choose to live in coastal Mississippi because the quality of life is high. The cost of living is not nearly as high as those other areas. So is so many layers to that. You've got the parking garage aspect to it. You've got the market rent and being able to drive the market rents down so that it's become more financially viable. You've got the way that we're the people who work in the building, the commercial real estate, the commercial ventures that'll be part of that, the people who actually work in the actual building itself. And then you've got the people who live there, who are going to be, as we discussed more than once, empty nesters and people who are part of this new economy, who, as the pandemic has told us, they can live, work, and play anywhere remotely. And we want them to choose coastal Mississippi, but we need places like this to attract them. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation with Stewart Speed.
Broadcasting safe and sound from the coastal Mississippi studios. This is Coast View with Ricky Mathews on SuperTalk 103.1.
At the water's edge, you'll find open horizons, blue skies. Look up, birds flying by. A big mystery, a secret coast you'll see. It may be all you need. This is no ordinary life. This is no ordinary life.
Hey, South Mississippi, it's Jay Allen at Jay Allen Toyota, and I got something new for you for 2021. It's the Jay Allen Certified Collection. What that means is we selected our very best inventory with under 75,000 miles, and they're 6 years old or newer. That comes with a multi-point inspection, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, and a 3-day buyback guarantee. So come check out the Jay Allen Certified Pre-Owned Collection right here, I-10 exit 38 in Gulfport, or on allentoyota.com.
SuperTalk.fm has a new look and is more informative than ever with expanded Mississippi news coverage, the latest Mississippi weather, Mississippi sports, and of course, the talk that's important to you. Every show, every podcast, and every late-breaking story. Constantly updating the news the second new developments happen. All in one place. The new SuperTalk.fm.
106.3 Casino Radio is here. Tune to 106.3 to discover all of our must-see attractions and everything that's happening at our 12 incredible casino resorts. Where to eat, where to stay, what to do, and where to play. 106.3 Casino Radio has you covered with everything you need to know to help make your visit here to the coast one you'll never forget. Turn on 106.3 Casino Radio or listen now on our website, CasinoRadio1063.com.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking hard-to-find PPE items. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. When your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
When you listen to SuperTalk Mississippi, you become part of a statewide community, a community of knowledgeable, engaged, enlightened, well-informed, hard-working men and women just like you, all eager to see the Magnolia State grow and prosper. There may be some disagreement on how to get there, but the goal remains the same, for each Mississippian to reach their American dream. Thanks for listening and being a part of the conversation on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Hey, I'm Steve Azar, and you never know who or what you'll hear when I spend a Mississippi Minute with my friends. We are with the fabulous Norbert Putnam as he played on so many hit records, you can't count them, and produced for some of the biggest acts ever. Norbert, Elvis.
And I want to tell you about Presley. He had two different voices. He would sit and talk to me in a very calm, low voice. And we were at Stack's one night, and we were having lunch. We always had lunch at midnight because he was nocturnal. We sat there and we have our sandwiches, and at 1 o'clock, he looked up. He said, "Hey, Put, come on, it's time for me to go be Elvis." And he stood up, in a much deeper voice, he put on his macho voice. "Hey, fellas, it's 1 o'clock. Let's get cracking, okay?"
In a Mississippi Minute. Be sure to check out In a Mississippi Minute with me, Steve Azar, right here on SuperTalk Mississippi, Amazon Alexa, and now on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher.
Talking to the people that help make the coast such a unique place to live. This is Coast View with Ricky Mathews on SuperTalk Mississippi Gulf Coast 103.1.
Welcome back to Coast View. We have Stewart Speed with us. He's with the Leaf River Group. He's the lead person on a project for coastal Mississippi. A group of local investors invited him in, and they've sort of amassed a really good team that is focused on building something at the corner of 49 and Highway 90 in Gulfport called the Gulfport Town Center. It's a mixed-use development. And you heard us talk about why we need this. It'll help bring sort of market rental prices down. It will help build some public parking that would be important. We've talked about when you combine residential with commercial, it creates a place where young people especially can live, work, and play in basically the same area. That's what they want. That's what our competing states are doing to attract people. Like when you think about Nashville and Austin and Chattanooga and others, this is what they're doing. And we have to do this here in coastal Mississippi. It's a top priority of the strategic plan developed by the Gulf Coast Business Council and the Gulf Coast Community Foundation. So now let's come back to you. Your project went to the local steering committee for the Gulf Coast Restoration Fund. They scored it and did the work that they do, and they recommended the project to the legislature. Take it from there. Where are you in the process?
Yeah, so the legislative session is fairly well advanced now, as you know, and so we have been working to get the word out about the project and why it makes sense for the GCRF funds, and why it ought to be a priority and is such an incredible opportunity for the coast. So we're in the throes of that process right now, working with the coast delegation, the legislative leadership, the governor's office, MDA, the whole 9 yards, and we've got some good representation, working for us on that project, on that subject, and so things are going well. We're moving along and looking forward to kind of concluding the process here and the pitch for this project here soon, next few weeks.
Well, that's good to hear. And, what I'm hearing behind the scenes is that there's a lot of conversations are taking place that may not have taken place during the first round of BP money. You can tell that what I'm hearing about state leaders level of engagement in this, deeply engaged, wanting to do the kind of projects that are going to be truly transformational. And, as we get more of these kind of projects sort of rolling out of the system, then we can hold those up as examples and say, this is what we're looking for. We're looking for game-changing projects that literally can economically transform coastal Mississippi. Not by themselves, but a collection of projects like this could literally transform our economy. And that's the point that we're trying to make, isn't it?
Yeah, so it really is. We I would submit that the process here, GCRF process, really needs an example of this kind of project, but also to become reality, but also a private sector led project that the folks involved in the process, legislature, et cetera, can point to and say, look, this work. Here's here's where the private sector came to work, on a public-private opportunity, and this is working. And they brought a wheelbarrow full of private dollars to help make this thing go, and so you can too. And so I would submit that rather than public every time out, now's the time to get one of these done. Now that we kind of got year one out of the way, you said that didn't quite go as planned, pandemic, et cetera. But now they got an opportunity for a do-over, and they need to hit the right notes, hopefully. And so, and there's several worthy projects, but you're looking for the transformational ones, the few. There aren't that many of those, and ours certainly is one of those.
And as I mentioned a minute ago, I hope as we go forward, we'll see more and more of these, because in my conversation with Ben Brown, who worked with Andres Duani back in the early days, after Hurricane Katrina, I got to know him really well. When I went over to Alabama and led the oil recovery planning efforts for Alabama, he actually was involved in helping write the report and leading the writers team. What Ben said is that, and I've made this point at the beginning, that developers in other markets would covet the opportunity to have projects that are transformational, work financially. And, they don't have such a fund. This BP money, we got a chance to get this right. The legislature decided that 75% of the BP money would be spent in coastal Mississippi. Now we have to stay rigorous and stay aligned around not doing things that don't have a payback. We can't do things that don't have a payback in the future. We have to find other sources for those things. We need to be focused on partnering with private investments so that we can do the kind of things that are literally going to transform coastal Mississippi. And I hope that the future shows more projects like this are coming forward. And maybe your project would be one of the first big projects that would be funded and in partnership with the state in a way that makes it doable, and then we can actually see it and put our fingers on it. You're ready to go if it got approved, I assume, huh?
Yeah, we are. We are ready. There'll be some more drawing that occurs, with the architect, engineer, but for sure. And so, yeah, we hope we can put 350 to 400 people living in downtown Gulfport, Ricky, which would change the place dramatically. And we know all the businesses downtown would really appreciate it. And I should
point out that Roy Anderson III, his company, Andecor, is going to be the builder.
Yes, exactly. That's right. And so we are looking forward to that aspect of it.
I had a great conversation with Roy, an hour-long session talking about his family and all that. It's really interesting that he would be the builder because his family's history in downtown Gulfport is so incredibly significant. His grandfather and the way he came here, and then his father and the role that his father played, and then Roy played to build this incredible company, successful company, and now he's doing it all over again with his son with Andecor. Just a terrific story. But hey, we're out of time, Stewart. I really appreciate you joining me for a Coast Vue session so that we can let people know what was coming up, and we'll keep in touch with you and let people know what the latest is as it relates to this project.
Great. Thanks, Ricky. Enjoyed it.
It's been a pleasure. I'll see you tomorrow.
Coast Vue on SuperTalk 103.1 is brought to you by J. Allen Toyota on I-10 exit 38 Gulfport. See all the incredible inventory at allentoyota.com. And remember, when you think Toyota, think J. Allen Toyota.
At the water's edge, you'll find open horizons, blue skies. Look up, birds flying by. Have you ever been so high? Have you ever touched the sky? Soak it in and you'll realize this is no ordinary life. Sunset views, hard to believe it's true. Come down south, we're here, just waiting for you. It may be all you need. This is no ordinary life. No ordinary life. Oh no. This is no ordinary life.
Hey South Mississippi, it's Jay Allen at Jay Allen Toyota, and I got something new for you for 2021. It's the Jay Allen Certified Collection. What that means is we selected our very best inventory with under 75,000 miles, and they're 6 years old or newer. That comes with a multi-point inspection, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, and a 3-day buyback guarantee. So come check out the Jay Allen Certified Pre-Owned Collection right here, I-10 exit 38 in Gulfport, or on allentoyota.com.
When COVID started, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply began stocking very hard-to-find PPE items to make our community a safer place. When Amazon and other mega internet companies were out of stock or inflating prices, Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply was providing local schools and businesses vital PPE supplies at fair prices. They were even sending thousands of dollars of PPE supplies free to local schools in need with help from other local business leaders. The next time your office needs PPE supplies, office furniture, or products to keep your business operating, consider a local company that supports your ball teams, cheerleaders, and area homeless. Consider Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply, the local guys that keep your prices fair, your service and selection excellent, and your health our business. Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply. We sell that too. Buy local.
Hey, I'm Steve Azar, and you never know who or what you'll hear when I spend a Mississippi Minute with my friends. We are with the fabulous Norbert Putnam as he played on so many hit records, you can't count them, and produced for some of the biggest acts ever. We got to talk Jimmy Buffett.
One day at breakfast, he says, I started a new song. He says, about a night and a day in Key West, I played a bar and I got drunk, and coming home, I stepped out of my flip-flop, and I just kept going. I stepped on a beer can. And the next morning, I'm up, and I'm hungover, and I'm trying to make a margarita. I got some shrimp boiling. I can't find the salt. I said, Jimmy, I kind of like this. And he said, yeah, I think I'll call it Margaritaville.
In a Mississippi Minute. Be sure to check out In a Mississippi Minute with me, Steve Azar, right here on your local SuperTalk Mississippi station, and now on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher.
SuperTalk.fm has a new look and is more informative than ever with expanded Mississippi news coverage, the latest Mississippi weather, Mississippi sports, and of course, the talk that's important to you. Every show, every podcast, and every late-breaking story. Constantly updating the news the second new developments happen. All in one place. The new SuperTalk.fm.
106.3 Casino Radio is here. Tune to 106.3 to discover all of our must-see attractions and everything that's happening at our 12 incredible casino resorts. Where to eat, where to stay, what to do, and where to play. 106.3 Casino Radio has you covered with everything you need to know to help make your visit here to the coast one you'll never forget. Turn on 106.3 Casino Radio or listen now on our website, CasinoRadio1063.com.
If Alexa's part of your life, you've got one more way to access SuperTalk. SuperTalk Mississippi is now available on Amazon Alexa devices. Once enabled, just say, Alexa, play SuperTalk Mississippi at any time and start listening. It's that easy. Just one more way to stay informed and connected with your state. Learn more at supertalk.fm/Alexa. SuperTalk Mississippi. SuperTalk Mississippi. Now available on Amazon Alexa devices. Feeling down? Here's your prescription for a daily dose of good news and positive vibes. Good Things with Rebecca Turner. Every afternoon, Rebecca highlights all the good things happening right here in the state you call home. Daily exposure to Good Things with Rebecca Turner may cause smiling, feelings of positivity, happiness, and even laughter. When you experience these symptoms, tell your friends to listen. Okay. Weekdays starting at 2 p.m. here on SuperTalk Mississippi and now on Amazon Alexa devices. When you listen to SuperTalk Mississippi, you become part of a statewide community, a community of knowledgeable, engaged, enlightened, well-informed, hard-working men and women just like you, all eager to see the Magnolia State grow and prosper. There may be some disagreement on how to get there, but the goal remains the same, for each Mississippian to reach their American dream. Thanks for listening and being a part of the conversation on SuperTalk Mississippi.